right, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us today on this hybrid event. One of the first few events that we're doing again back in the city, back in the UAE, and we have the pleasure here of having one of our senior great cloud advocates visiting us all the way from Netherlands. My name is Hussam Mohsine. I lead the Microsoft Reactor for the Middle East and Africa region. We're physically located in Abu Dhabi, but we have been doing lots of great work across the communities in the UAE, Saudi, and the Middle East and Africa region. And with these sessions here that we have Henk visiting us in the UAE, we're coming back to in person with these hybrid events. So some of the members are joining us online through the live stream. We're streaming on YouTube and Twitch on the Reactor YouTube channel, and also the Microsoft Developer Twitch channel, across also many other. Throughout today's presentation, we will be talking more about the age of applied AI, and we have Henk here to talk more about that. Feel free to ask as many questions as you can. We'll take some questions from, of course, the audience here, and also the people who are joining us on the live stream. If you want to ask a question, I'll be at the back. Let me know. I have this external mic so that you also be audible in the video recording. The session is recorded and will also be available on our YouTube channel. There will be other sessions also that are on the Meetup page. This is where we put all our events or our community activity. Everything is open to the public and available to all. So if you can be able to join us on any of the other sessions, for example, we have an upcoming one with Middlesex University later this week. So if you want to join that, the Meetup is the right place to be. I'll make sure that you all have the link. If you haven't joined the Meetup, reach out to me. And again, if you have questions during the session, just let me know. I'll come with the mic and get you ready to ask that. As usual, this is a Microsoft event, so let's keep it a friendly environment. We open to all viewpoints and questions, kind and considerate to others, and welcoming and respectful to all at all time. That's it for me. Now, Henk, please join me on stage. Thank you for doing this session with us, Henk. We're excited to have you.
Yes, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here in this part of Dubai.
Awesome, awesome. So this hasn't been your first visit. You visited us at the Reactor in the launch a couple of years ago, and we're having you here again. So again, make sure that you leverage today's session. Henk comes with a wealth of experience around the topic. So he's the right person to ask. And he's also in the right department to pass on any feedback, any questions about the products, so that also you enjoy the best experience. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. I'll be at the back. Henk, all yours.
Thank you. And hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me today. So this session, the Age of Applied AI, is kind of an introduction to like the AI landscape. We will zoom into some questions we might have about AI, about the field, and we will later on look at like how the Microsoft stack looks concerning AI. So today, our journey starts in the year 1955. And that was the year that John McCarthy actually came up with the term artificial intelligence. And Alan Turing developed 5 years before a test that could kind of test the intelligence of a computer. And the test was like, can you as a human distinguish if you're talking or interacting with a computer or with a human? So, but in 1995 was John McCarthy, and he kind of started talking about artificial intelligence. And a year later, he organized the famous Dartmouth conference in the summer of 1956, where AI actually started as a field within computer science. And there they defined AI, artificial intelligence, is the science and engineering of making intelligent machines. So my name is Henk Boelman, and I'm a cloud advocate at Microsoft. And my job is to tell you about AI, what we can all do on the Microsoft stack, listen to your feedback, and bring that back to our product teams to make our products more enjoyable and more usable for everyone, especially for the people that use it, of course. So this was kind of me like 5-6 years ago when I started with AI. I was like, oh my God, I saw all these movies like the Terminator, creepy robots, and so on. And then I started to get into AI, and I actually tried to solve this problem. And it was a lot harder than I thought to actually classify the image the right way. So I'm going to take you on to kind of a learning journey for me. I will show you some things that I have learned in that time. And then we will see that we don't have to be scared and that we're still in this phase, like trying to explore AI and see what the possibilities are. So back when I was small, I'm not going to show you my age or tell you my age, but you might see it on the pictures. This was how my computer looked like. I don't know if you still remember it, with like all these cool things. You had the big disk, the small disk, the CD, the 4-speed, the 16-speed, and all those things. And you could make your own tower. And you could actually reach all the cables, not the laptops that are like squeezed now and you can't like replace even a battery anymore. And of course, we played games, and that was in color, so that was still really beautiful. The internet was there, but kind of took like 39 years to actually download something, which it still wouldn't have been finished now. And I took my advice from a paperclip. And that was kind of the AI that was there. But if you look now how the world is nowadays, of course, we have the cloud. It's there, and it made a lot of change in the AI world. And we have something called AI-infused drinks. So we have machines that actually pick the right ingredients. We have AI-infused toothbrushes that help you optimize your toothbrushing experiences. And we have AI-infused toilets at some fairs, and I don't even want to know what they are doing with AI. So let's take a look in that history from 1950 all the way up to now and see what has changed. So this is actually this really cool drawing. It's made by a colleague of us. She is in the States. And this is part of a course that is available on GitHub. I can share the link later on, where we go through all the things in 10 weeks concerning AI. So you go all in depth about what machine learning is, how different algorithms work, how you do data, how you prepare your data, how to go from deep learning. So that is really cool. So I stole her sheet for this illustration. So artificial intelligence kind of started to feel like in 1950, 1955, and then it moved on. For like 10 years, there was a lot of research, and everything was cool, everything was new. And then they came up with kind of the first chatbot, and that one was called Shaky, the robot, and Eliza, and they could do like some small natural language processing. Then we moved on to other things, and then the research kind of stopped. There was not enough compute. It didn't really do that much. So there was a big AI winter. And then in the 90s, when the personal computer became more accessible to everyone, and it came back in the home, and more compute, and the cloud came, it kind of started up, and it started to switch to like not these massive systems they were trying to build, those kind of robots that were going to take over the world and do all these things. No, it was going to narrow down a little bit to AI systems that can do like one single thing very well, like your vacuum cleaner that automatically can vacuum your house, can do that really well. We have vision systems that can detect like lung cancer very, very well, but not anything else. If you show it a bird, it will absolutely not understand that is a bird. It will just probably say some random thing. So now we're in the age that we have a lot of data, because everyone is collecting data about everything. Everything goes in the cloud, so we have the access to data and to those small systems. So that's kind of the age where we're in now. So if we look back, we've come to this like really big age where we were trying to research things, invent new algorithms, and now we are at a time where we can actually apply them, which is really, really cool. So artificial intelligence is now being used, whether you like it or not, and it's making decisions about you. If you get a plane ticket, or even when you board a plane. And when I was the last time in America, there was face recognition and there was not even anyone checking my boarding card again. It was just me, my passport, my plane ticket, and I could walk into the plane. It's detecting credit card frauds. So especially now, when I started traveling after a long year, that algorithm went in. Hey, that can't be right that you're traveling now, and then it's flagged those things. And Uber is also using face recognition to actually see if the driver is the one driving the car. So some of the Uber drivers are being popped up a photo. They have to go in front of the camera, and then it validates that the registered Uber driving is actually the one driving the car. So AI, it is a bigger field. So what is it? AI, artificial intelligence, is kind of any technique that enables computer to pretend to be human. So that is the whole term. Then we go a little bit deeper. We go into machine learning. And machine learning is to give your computer the ability to learn things without actually programming it. So you can make an AI system by just typing a lot of if then else statements and trying to pretend it is being AI. But machine learning, it will actually start learning by itself on the data you give it. And deep learning is a subsection of machine learning, and then it is trying to find like more underlying features that you not know before. So today we're going to talk about machine learning. So machine learning is the ability to learn or make your computer learn without explicitly programming that machine. So programming in the old days, or still programming is now, is you create this algorithm, a function, there's some input, and you give it some data, and it will give you an answer. Like 1 + 1 is 2, if you typed the function correctly. But with machine learning, this is switched. So instead of programming the algorithm, it's going to program it for you by giving it a bunch of answers, like a big Excel sheet, for instance, with like, these are car prices or these are temperatures. So you give that to your algorithm, the data and the answers, and it will create this algorithm automatically for you. And the algorithm in machine learning world is called a model. And now when you have that model, you can run new data through that model, and you will get a prediction. So remember before I said you will get an answer, because 1 + 1 is 2. But here it will give you a prediction. It will tell you like, hey, I'm like 90% sure that I see a cat on the image, or I'm 80% confident that that second-hand car should go for like 10,000 euros. So it is always giving you a prediction. So then this question, of course, arises. If you're not explicitly programming your computer anymore, how do you know it is making the right decisions? Because all the computer knows is the data you used it to train on it. So your data set, your view of the world. So it might, or it probably will pick up a very biased view of the world. And there are too many examples where that happened. So because AI systems learn to make decisions by looking at the historical data, they often over-amplify existing biases in their data. So in this case, this was an IT sector, of course, and there were mostly male employers. So if you think of a recruiting tool, you give all the current employees to a recruiting tool, it will start automatically looking for the same people. So by default, if you were a woman in this case, it would just throw your resume away, not relevant, not relevant, not relevant. We had this chatbot at Microsoft that became very racist, very, 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 very fast. because everyone was feeding it, and it started learning and learning and learning, and that was his or her, I think Thai was undefined. She learned from the world or the chatbot was put in.
Is that about the African American?
Excuse me?
The bias about the African American?
It did some really horrible things that I will not say on a public stream. But you can look the stories up. They're still available on the internet. And even this system is the best. Like, is it the AI that was at fault, or were it the humans that actually programmed it were at fault? So this system was doing face recognition at traffic lights. So if you crossed the traffic light when the light was red, it snapped your photo, it looked up your face, and it sent you a fine automatically a few weeks later. But what if your face is on a bus that crosses the zebra? So every time the bus drove through the city, this woman that was on the bus got like hundreds of fines because it was going through red from the point of view of the AI algorithm. So there are a lot of things you have to encounter or think of when you're creating machine learning models. So let's do like a small quiz here. You don't have to answer. I will ask you the questions and you can make the answer up in your head. So would you trust an AI to recommend you a product or a service? Like you're on Amazon or you're like on any other web store, and it will recommend you, you might like this pet, for instance, based on all your other search engines. So probably for me, yeah, I would probably click on it and I would like, might be good. Some algorithms will help you to stay safe online. It scans all the links that you, for instance, click on. When you go to Outlook, it always goes through like the protection, the virus scanners. Yeah, probably is a good help. It assists me in making the right decisions. Assist you in driving. Now we're coming a little bit closer. Do we like that? That it assists us when we are in the car? My car helps me to brake when there is another car in front, so it assists me. So that kind of sometimes helps me. Sometimes it's like it gets me more scared because it starts braking unnecessary. But it is nice to do, and with these new self-driving cars, it kind of assists you, like you can go to the left now. It's kind of cool. But would you let an AI actually drive you? Go into a car without a steering wheel and without braking pedals? Would you like completely hand over yourself to a car? I think us as developer and technicians, maybe not, because we know how easy it can be to make a mistake. So I would definitely be thinking about that decision. And another one, like monitoring my health. Yeah, monitoring is good. I wouldn't completely trust it, but like a Fitbit smartwatch would be cool. But then, would I use it to dispense my medication? Would I trust it with that? Or would I? No. We all know AI systems, computer systems. It's like, okay, it's 3 o'clock, do it, or monitor your thing. So maybe, I'm not sure. And the final question, would you let an AI choose someone to babysit your children, recommend you a person? So let's dive a little bit into this one. So from a set of services, it's going to extract a lot of information. So let's say we have our child and we have like a bunch of people that can be our babysitter. And then an AI is going to use social media outings to kind of analyze and then get information about that person. So we put it in the mix, and then it builds a profile on that. And then it will kind of look at all these things, like is there drug abuse, bullying, harassment, explicit content. So it builds up this like social profile of you. So is that good enough, the social profile? Or what if someone doesn't have any social media? You're kind of excluding that person like right away.
So what happens?
Huh?
So what happens in this case?
What happens? That's up to you. That is still the decisions we as humans all have to make. So if a computer is making their decisions based on social media profiles, then we're excluding a lot of people. Which,
But don't you think with this pattern it becomes quite easy for people to fool their machines? I mean, you can create fake profiles.
exactly.
You can do a lot of things with.
Yeah. So that is a big problem at the moment. So the answer might be, no, probably I would not trust a computer to kind of choose a babysitter for me. I would probably go to interviews and still let my human side decide that for me. But it can make like a pre-selection of people, and then I finally decide, something like that. So I'm just going to click through this slide, too many animations. So we have like a few things we can look if we look at responsible AI and talk about values based on well-being of others and values of well-being for myself. So at Microsoft, we have this framework called FATE: fairness, accountability, transparency, and ethical AI. So let's dive in all those parts of responsible AI. So with fairness, we can ask ourselves the questions like, is anyone treated differently when we use this AI model? Is the training data actually representative, relevant of everyone? And are there systems in place to detect and address potential unfairness? We have an Azure Machine Learning. It's our Microsoft AI service. We have a dashboard where you can actually, if you know how it works, I still don't know how, they still didn't figure out how it works, but you can see how it responds in certain situations by input and detect kind of biases in your data. So, and who is accountable for the decisions that the machine learning model makes? Is there like a way of giving actual feedback to the creators? Who is responsible? Is it the company, the developer, the data scientist? And can we verify the behavior? And transparent, that is also very good to have in an account. Are you being notified that there is an AI system being used to judge you if you're going to get like a credit card or this bank loan? Is it clearly stated that the AI is making that decision, so you can complain if it is wrong, because sometimes they are just wrong? And does it comply with all the local privacy laws? And then in the final, the E, is it ethical? What are the social implications if we use and start using this model? And is there actually someone really monitoring what is going on? Or did we just send in a model in the wild and is it there doing his thing? So let me show you one movie. I think I have to enable some sound here. About things you can actually, that is, Mute. Sorry for that. Okay, now is this working? So I have a small movie from Microsoft where we can see all these kind of things you can do with AI.
Like never before, our world is changing. Faced with some of our most critical challenges, human ingenuity triumphs. Today, the Microsoft AI for Good initiative enables a person with an idea to accelerate it, to give it scale, to create change for the better. Microsoft AI will help our work by empowering people to take action. Through AI for Earth, photos can now help save a species. With AI for accessibility, the visual world becomes an audible experience.
So there are a lot of things you can do for good with AI. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is, should you build a model yourself or should you buy like a model from the store? And then mostly the 80-20% rule applies. It's like 80% of the use cases you have for AI you can fix with an already existing model, or like with a very small customization on the model, like bring a little bit of data, peel off like 1 or 2 layers, and then add some new data. So that will mostly work. And then there is like 20% for the use case that is so unique that you really need to start building your own model. So let's have a look at some scenarios you can solve and some questions our customers have. Like the first question would be, I want to deliver and manage my own machine learning models at scale. And that is hard. How can you help us? And then for that, we have Azure Machine Learning. Azure Machine Learning is a fully managed service that can start with managing your data, train your models, and run your models in production at scale. And you can work together as teams to actually build those models. So someone can be responsible for data, someone can be responsible for the training and scaling, and your ops team can actually run these things in production, like it can run in Kubernetes clusters, it can run in our managed online endpoints. So Azure Machine Learning covers the whole set for the really do-it-yourself models. But also some customers ask, like, my team needs high-quality pre-built AI models for like common cognitive things. Like they want to do speech recognition, they want to do translation, they want to do some kind of object detection or caption their images. So therefore, we have our Azure Cognitive Services. This is a set of 40 services that can cover most common scenarios. We will dive into a few a bit later. And then there is the other thing. I want to use AI to modernize common business scenarios. And here we can look at, for instance, if you want to recognize your incoming invoices. We have a complete tool set that you can give all your invoices. It will analyze it, extract the data, put it in a search engine, or extract it how you want. And you can build that in your bigger applications. There is Azure Bot Services. If you want to create a chatbot, then it is already there. You don't have to train your own models to understand language anymore. And then there is Azure Video Analyzer. You upload a video, and it will extract chapters for you. It will extract which spaces there are in it. It tracks emotions, and it will automatically transcribe your videos. So this is the whole portfolio, what we have in Azure, in Microsoft actually. So we have Office 365, Dynamics, and our partner solutions. And those ones are built on our Azure AI services, either on our applied AI service or on our cognitive services. And all our cognitive services are probably made using Azure Machine Learning here. So it starts with do everything yourself with APIs that can do like one specific task very well, applications that combine all these different APIs, and then they're used in our Power Platform and in our applications. So they're actually being used at scale. So let's zoom in to these Azure Cognitive Services, because these are really the building blocks for an intelligent solution. Cool. So these are the four regions, four specific topics, regions they have. So there is vision, to make your application see, speech, to make your application listen and talk back to you. Then there is language, to understand what is being spoken. And then there is decisions. There are the services that can make decisions for you to help you choose like the right action. So under language, there is the translation service and text analytics service. So text analytics can look at a piece of text, extract the important things, and tell you like, hey, this is very negative, or hey, this is very positive about the sentence. So if you have a Twitter account, you follow a hashtag, you can run them all through, and you can see like the sentiment about your company just by calling one API. Speech, text to speech, speech to text, real-time translation. So I'm talking in English, you can hear it in Arabic real-time in your ear. It all works. And vision, to just detect faces, to detect objects. And there is a service called Custom Vision where you can bring your own images and train your own model without typing a single line of code. So I'm going to show you a quick demo about how you can look at an image with handwriting, translate that to text, or extract the text, convert it to Arabic, and then actually get a computer speaking in Arabic to you all. Can you see the screen in the stream? Perfect. So this is our Visual Studio Code. This is our editor. And in that, I'm running a notebook. The cool thing about notebooks is that you can have code in a cell. There is a play button here, and that will execute the code. And all the variables you have in the different cells, you can access it all through your notebook. So if you have a variable in the bottom cell, you run it, you can still access that variable in the top cell if you run it again, which might sound very confusing, which sometimes is, because you can mix them up, but it is really good to prototype and show actually things. So the language you're seeing is Python, and I've installed 2 SDKs. So for every cognitive service, there is an SDK available in the language of your choice. So if you're a C# developer, Java developer, it is all there, and you can go to the website docs.microsoft.com and find these SDKs with all the documentation you need. You can still choose to do some REST API calls, because sometimes it is just faster to just send an image and get some JSON back. But this kind of works, and it looks so nice in your code that you don't have to specify all the headers. So in my first cell, I will start with importing all the dependencies I need for this project. So you can do that on top of your cell, but I like to put it in the most above, so I'm done. I'm going to use the Azure CLI to create resources in Azure for me. So the Azure CLI is the Azure command line interface. So you can go to the portal, portal.azure.com, start creating all these resources and click a lot with your mouse. Or you can use like kind of the old way, just type in your console like a hacker and create all these resources for you. So first I'm going to create a resource group called Vision to Speech resource group. The resource group holds resource groups in Azure. You can see them as a bucket that will hold all your services. So you can group them together, manage them together there, give permissions on those resource groups to people, and also delete them all at once. So I have my resource group, and now I'm going to create a cognitive service from the type or from the kind computer vision. So this service, you can send images, and it will give you back insights. It can do object detection, it can do OCR, it can do OCR on handwriting, and detect celebrities in images. So here it is created, and here is my key. I will put my key here, and now I can create a computer vision client. Here is my image. Let's take a look at it. And this image tells us the Microsoft mission to empower every person and organization on the planet to achieve more in my kind of readable Western handwriting. Let's have a look. We run it, we send it to the API, and it will analyze all the text in it. And now we can print the results. So what it does is it looks at my handwriting and all the words, and it will tell us in coordinates where those words and where those lines are. So now you can actually cut them out or put like borders around it. And here we see that it has extracted the complete text. So the next thing I'm going to do is create a translation endpoint, because now if I have extracted the text, I can send that text to another API to actually translate it. So here is my translation key. Oh, put it in between the quotes. And this API is so easy, so simple to post that there is not an SDK. So you have to do a REST call. And basically what you do is you specify in the header your from language and your multiple to languages. You post that, and in the body you put the text you want to have translated. That's it. And you get back in the response the translations and the text. So here we see that it has the Dutch translation and the Arabic translation. Here it is. So now the next thing I want to do is actually have a service convert this to speech for me. So I create a speech service endpoint. Exactly the same way. It's almost all the time the same API call. Get my subscription key or get my endpoint key. And it is done. So here is the file, and was it any good? Cool. So with 3 API calls, you go from a handwritten text on a piece of paper to a WAV file in a completely different language, and with maybe like 30, 40 lines of code. So far the demo. So if we look at these services, I kind of already touched a little bit on them in the previous image. So these are the services that make use of the underlying services I just showed you. And you see, if you can combine them, you can create a real-world application. Oh, here they are. So there is cognitive search. which I didn't touch on yet. So cognitive search is a really cool thing. Like you see when we are in Google or Bing, you ask a question like, what is the capital of Paris? And it will not give you only a search result, it will just give you the answer to that question, like, hey, it's Paris. It's the capital of France, Paris. So you can do that same thing with cognitive search. There is an option to enable semantic search, and then it will start looking at the data, your own data that is in that search engine, in that index, to answer those questions. Another thing you can do is, if you have a lot of images or PDFs in that search engine, you can connect one of these cognitive services to it, and it will analyze it for you. So if you upload like 1,000 images with dogs and cats and trees on it, you can run that through the computer vision API. It will do that all automatically for you. It will put all those tags and all the objects you see automatically in Azure Cognitive Search next to the image. And then you can ask the search index, give me all the images with trees. And then it will show you all the results for that. Or you ask it like, hey, are there any cats in the tree? And then you get cats in the tree and those kind of images. So that is really cool. One service I really like, which is a little bit older, and is available in the Azure Cognitive Services labs. So this is kind of a hidden place where our product teams display services that are still currently developing. They see if there is any demand for it, and they look for people to actually help us create these services. So there is a project called Project Gestures, and that gives you the ability to incorporate hand gestures in your application. So we have seen that it works in like HoloLenses, that you can do this, and in virtual reality things, but now you can actually sit behind a laptop and do like this and start and so on. So that is really, really cool. So you have to install a app on your machine. It is a plugin for Windows, so it only works on Windows yet. And here you see that it is actually tracking my hand and the positions of all my fingers. There is a C# library, and you can use to incorporate gestures in your applications. So you can define hand poses. So it's like the fist, and then I'm going to specify how all my fingers have to be positioned. Then I will show that this is peace, and I can combine them in a gesture. So the transaction from this to this is called a gesture. And then this little piece of code will actually do this and say hello on the screen. So with 6 lines of code, you can trigger anything like what you would have triggered with like a mouse click or with like a keystroke. But now you have gestures, which is really cool. And out of the box, you get like a really cool set of extra features added to Windows. So you can do PowerPoint. You don't have to touch your screen or use your mouse to do these kind of things. Maximize, go back, really handy. Send emails. Actually hang up Skype in like a cool way. Of course, for gaming and 3D, it is really nice to actually pick them. I didn't get that working. But you sit on YouTube, play and pause. You don't have to get up, touch your mouse. Maximize, close, like things, add to your favorites in ads. And this is how you want to use Facebook. You just go swipe, 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 and like, and continue. And of course, gaming, always a fun idea to do it like that. So before I close off the presentation, I want to go back to like what we were talking in the beginning about AI by showing you this video. You might have seen it. So we're building AI systems. it remains a good one. So as engineers here in the room, I probably see a few. We're building and creating these AI systems. So it is our responsibility to make them work for good and make them work for us and prevent, like these funny things we saw in the video, prevent those things from happening, because we are the ones, our developers, project managers, the development teams, we push them, press a button to go to production. Nobody else is doing it. So like my colleague Tess always says, we are the guardians of the future. So let's create a sunny future for AI and use what we make for good.
So I'm here in India, and I'm going to see how Microsoft AI is helping prevent people from going blind.
80% of the people who went blind can be prevented, but we have about one doctor to 70,000 people. You can't bring all of them to the doctor, so we take the technology to them.
So how does Microsoft AI help you in your mission?
The first step is to capture a photograph of the eye, and the AI does an analysis of the photographs without a physical doctor at the site.
So AI can say, okay, this person doesn't have a problem, and this person does.
That's right.
So that they can get treated, and you can help prevent blindness.
Exactly, that's the whole point.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's what technology is supposed to do. That can change the world.
So thank you all for watching and joining me today here. If we have any questions or you want to see more demos, I'm always available here to hang a little bit more, how it's possible. So we close off with the future we event is a choice we make, not something that just happens. So thanks, everyone.
All right, we'll start taking questions, and the first one here.
So, hi, my name is Nihar. So
Hi.
I'm having two questions right now. So, is metaverse is an AI?
So
Is the metaverse is an AI?
I don't know anything about the metaverse at the moment. No,
Okay,
I
no
can
worries.
take part of that.
absolutely. Go ahead.
Metaverse is talking about a new virtual world that's based on distributed ledger. It's mostly based on the blockchain environment, using technologies like virtual reality, augmented realities, and AI, of course, to facilitate it. AI is not something we can use. AI enables the things that we use. It's like electricity, like something help us do what we want to do, not exactly. So it's a blockchain.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That is the best answer I heard, and it is on tape, so that's perfect.
Always good to have these conversations
Yes.
when we come together in the room. Any more questions around the topic of AI? Please go ahead.
I do have. Well, thank you for a very nice presentation. It's a beautiful taking us with the history since the 1955 till now. But my question today, as we see the artificial narrow intelligence that has limited applications, those applications for the pessimist, like some of my friends, see it is useless. And some of the applications for the optimists see it is very helpful. I'll give you two examples. If you want to clean your table after a big dinner, you cannot use the AI or robot, but you can use the AI to send someone to the moon or to Mars. Still, AI cannot do even some simple functions. But if I want to go to the application and this is my personal interest. If I want to use the AI in a big data to do whatever me as a human is limited to do, so where is that? This is a big issue today, and I think it's a big implementation. Other things like conversational AI and so on has certain progress. The recommendation system that you mentioned has progress. But if you touch the big data use of the AI, please, data analytics.
Oh yeah, there are so many things we can do with of course big data, but everything is very, very, very narrow now. It will still not learn. At least the systems that I know of don't learn from just give it a bunch of big data and it will solve your problem of cleaning your cleaning your table. We need some robotics for that. But extracting insights out of big data, that should be possible. But you have to know what you're looking for. And
well, in today business, people are making decisions based on their intuition and experience, and they fall in lots of mistakes. We make wrong. If I go with AI that help me get some insights from the data about uncertain situation in the future, it will minimize or reduce the probabilities of making errors.
So then we're talking about very specific data for a very specific company with a very specific thing. So all AI problems, of course, start with a question. You know that. And if you have formulated question and you have historical data to back that question up, then you can train an AI model on that data to give you a prediction about what might happen in the future. But it all starts with, do you actually have the data? Is the data cleaned? Is the data reliable? Are there not any mistakes in your data? And then we can talk about, you need like supervised data, or you have like unsupervised data, like is the answer actually in the data? I always like to go back to that simple problem of predicting like car prices, because that could be like a problem. Let's say you're a sales engineer and you want to sell this second-hand car. So without AI, it is like, okay, today I see the demand for Ford like up, so let's price them a little bit higher. But you want AI to do that. I think that kind of goes a little bit to the question you.
Not really.
Okay. So with decisions.
The question you touched it in your answer, and thank you. What I was saying, that sometimes I don't know the question, but I need answer. I need the AI to go and get patterns from that data that I cannot see it as a human and give me insight.
It's not possible. I'm not a specialist in AI, but I understand that the big data, for example, in this case, will not help you. You will need to first clean the data, and then more or less you need to have some idea what will be the question. Otherwise, it will be like kind of impossible right now. Maybe in the future, inshallah, we can have this kind of technology.
Thank you for the input. We have more questions here.
I don't have a question. I just want to add one point. Usually, having data is not the issue. Usually, having too little data is the issue. Because when you want to go and train a model and you have too little data, the accuracy of your trained model isn't to the high level of accuracy. And here's where security comes in and other technologies to try to get more data and add upon your trained model. So usually, a large amount of data isn't as big of an issue as a little amount of data. Just wanted to add that point.
Thank you for the addition. Any more?
I want to ask, you mentioned in the beginning about the cats and dogs. Has this problem been solved?
The problem of cats and dogs has been very well solved. And I can actually show you how it has. So it starts first with like labeling your data correctly. And because if you label a dog as a cat and a cat as a dog, your AI will tell it completely wrong. It will tell you that, of course, the dog is the cat and the cat is the dog. So that was kind of the point I wanted to make with that image, that it all depends on your data and how And the machine learning algorithm will learn whatever you make it learn.
And what about autonomous vehicles? So how far are we actually from ever seeing a really autonomous vehicle? Do you think it will
I
happen
have
with the systems
no
that we have in
idea.
place now? No, frankly.
I think in a controlled environment,
In the,
and
but on the
in-
road, not control.
yeah, that's
With the road
that is the big.
conditions, with the climate conditions being different, is it possible?
I think we
Realistically,
have like a long way to go to actually make that possible.
I think they have 5 levels, and level 3 is already there. Which
They can't
you
do it
can-
on the road.
No,
with
yeah,
different
in
road
controlled
conditions.
environment
But road is
with
not controlled.
human presence. So this is level.
Yeah.
But to go to level 4,
Yeah, you need supervisors and those things still.
Hi, I have more specific question.
Oh.
With the video analysis, you can connect cameras to it and do live analysis, or is that something offline?
The video analyzer as it is now,
Yeah.
you give it recorded videos,
Yes.
but we have Azure Media Service,
Mhm.
which can transcribe everything it says in the language it is being spoken live.
Thank you.
We're taking one more question, and I remind everyone also on the live stream that we can
Do we
look
have any
into your
questions in the
a
live
bit.
stream or any comments? Let me
Yeah,
have a look.
I'm gonna get into that in a bit. Mohammed.
Yes, just does AI or does it help with privacy or to enhance privacy on the content of the internet, on the current social media and marketing, digital marketing, at the respect of privacy? Does AI help on that side?
Sorry, I missed the first start.
So does AI help privacy or it's an enemy?
The privacy as a data scientist and engineer, that is where you come in. The AI will just do what you tell it to do.
And like an industry, like as an industry or as a developers, is the tools nowadays helping us be more help enforce more privacy or going more into people's lives? I mean, like, does it help on that side? Today I got a small problem. They have one survey for and they recorded the names in the survey. Normal form survey.
Mm-hmm.
They recorded the names in the survey.
Yeah.
And the analysis said that everyone will give a positive feedback because the name is recorded.
Yeah, I think with gathering the data, and as a data scientist, you have the responsibility to make sure that your data is like removed from privacy, removed from identifiable information before it will ever reach an algorithm that will train on that data. And then the algorithm is released. So
it's the developer responsibility.
it is in this case, I would probably say the data scientist, because that job has the ability to look and the responsibility to look at that.
Right, I see some comments on the live stream, but no questions.
Okay,
Are we all good here, or any more questions?
Let's enter live stream, then we can.
All right.
Of course.
So, I will take a minute to thank everyone for joining us today. We got some swag for you as well from the reactor, and also a quick thank you to our partners DTech for hosting us today on this session. We will be back here also again in the future for more sessions. So this is the start of a collaboration that we will be having some sessions all across different hubs and different universities. Tomorrow we'll be at the Middlesex University. We have a session about AI on the Microsoft stack, and we also having another speaker joining, Henk, Darun, who's a very long experienced regional director, originally from Turkey, who recently also joined Microsoft in the business, and he's focused more about app innovation. So his area will cover the serverless part, and Henk will also do a session. So we'll start with one session and then follow to the other one. Henk will do AI on the Microsoft stack, and then followed by Darun, who's going to do the serverless on Azure. So if you have the opportunity to join us, tomorrow we'll be doing that. And if not, all the sessions are recorded like today, and we're streaming them. So make sure you are part of our meetup community. Microsoft Reactor Middle East and Africa is the name of the group. All the events are listed there. And we are starting to have this option where you can come to one of our partner hubs or universities that we are working together, where we can meet in person, connect, ask, and have all those healthy discussions that we used to have a while back. So thank you again, everyone, and hope to see you again in the future. Thank you.